Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Election news this noon. A federal judge has overturned New Hampshire's proof of citizenship voter registration law. That ruling came down this morning. The judge saying the law risks disenfranchising too many voters who are qualified to cast ballots. Secretary of State David Scanlon sat down with WMUR political director Adam Sexton this morning for close-up. The secretary says while he disagrees with the order and this case is likely to continue on appeal, for now, the state will revert to its 2024 election laws.
What does this mean about what happens in September and November?
Well, what this means in the short term is that we will be conducting the registration process at state elections the way we have done in the past, which means a voter can come into the polling place and use an affidavit to prove certain qualifications.
Secretary Scanlon says while it may not be New Hampshire's case that ultimately gets there, he does expect this proof of citizenship registration issue to reach the U.S. Supreme Court.
All right, so we did this yesterday, and we're doing it again. Micah, thanks for joining me for a second day.
Thank you.
All right, so let's break this down if we can, and put up comments on the other board if you would, please. Yesterday, we walked through the board. Now, the reason why I'm doing the board again is because there's a bunch of people that came through and said, Joe, can you make this more concise?
Yep.
Can you talk about things that are most important? There's one word on the board above the law that had some scrutiny. What word was that?
By legal immigration?
Illegals. And you have a judge that says there's too many people that would be disenfranchised.
Illegal.
But what people?
Yeah.
Did she have any data that she went off of? So you have people that are in positions of trust and authority, judges. So I want to walk back through this again. I want to walk back through kind of this line that was created. And somebody said, well, the Magna Carta came from the 12th century. It did.
It did.
1215. But in 1645, there was a massive fight, and it was the one thing during this revolution that happened in 1645 that led to them saying that, listen, we have a right to have our own sovereignty. That's where you have this kind of rule of sovereignty. So for those of you that missed it yesterday, we had a line. This is the law line, right? And the rule, the way that it works is that what's below the line?
The people.
Yeah, so you got the people here. What else is supposed to be below the line?
Technically everything.
Yeah. But you have the three branches of government. You have the judicial, the executive, and the legislative branch, right?
Yep.
Now, this is the same if we were talking about the state or we were talking about the federal government. It's all the same.
Correct.
Right, same?
Yep.
So what is above the law?
Nobody's above the law. Shouldn't be.
So the law should be the law of the land. So we
Law
have
should be the law of the land.
of, for, and by the people, right? You say, Joe, why are we doing this twice in a row? Well, why did I spend 6 years fighting over election fraud? All right, because I want to ingrain it. So under here you have elections. And you're supposed to have, the education system, EDU. And you should have, what else? What else could I put down here?
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. So law enforcement. Okay. What else? What else is down here? Surrounding the people.
Pharma.
Big pharma, right? So if they do something, they should be able to be held accountable for it, right? You have, tech companies. Tech companies should be able to And all these people that we have that are down here. And I'm going to add a few more things to it because SGAs, right?
SGAs.
And that's pseudo-government agencies. So these are basically the elections are SGAs. These are government agencies. So you should have the media should be down here. I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to make sure still made it on the list. And then we had what else we got? I had so much good stuff here. But I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I missed this one. Okay. So you got all this stuff that's down here underneath the line. The line of law, it's supposed to be that these people right here, they elect these people, right? These people administer the elections. These people are supposed to have oversight over SGAs, right? And then the judiciary is supposed to, and the legislative branch is supposed to oversee SGAs. And then the elitists donate money to make sure that all of this happens, and you're supposed to elect these people into different positions. Law enforcement is supposed to be hold the people accountable, which then goes to the judiciary so they can judge those people accordingly. It's supposed to be a system that allows for us to have equal application of the law.
Correct.
Is that what's happening?
No. All this is up here, and this is down here.
So the line for the law, we can move it down here.
Well, how we're living nowadays, yeah.
Okay, so you have all of this stuff, right? And I'm going to show you how it works because I think that we get to add something to this now. So we have this law line that we have up here, of, for, and by the people. It's supposed to be above the law, of, for, and by the people. So you had the Magna Carta, which basically established the sovereignty of the individual people to have basically a seat at the table. Then you had the Declaration of Independence, you had the Bill of Rights, and you had the Constitution, which were all drafted in order to give the people the ability to have a checks and balance system here. Okay. So we just played that a judge can just step in and say, for an entire election, could affect the outcome by allowing illegals to illegally vote.
That is correct.
Okay. So I'm going to take this down for a minute. I'm going to just kind of draw a new line if we can. And so right now, this is where we are. And here's the dangers of what I'm about to write. Everything that we're about to write on this board right now is exactly what is happening right now. Exactly. Yes, it's live. Gatorade, this is live. It says, so Stroh says, Joe, you forgot the illegals. No, I didn't. Not yet. So let me go through something for you. So let's just rewrite this if we can. So we got the executive branch, you got the judiciary, and you got the legislative branch. Now, these are supposed to checks and balance. The legislative branch can impeach, right? They can impeach the judiciary. The legislative branch can also impeach the president. The judiciary, passes down and makes sure they approve laws. So you have this complete checks and balances, right?
Yep.
And then you have these elitists, and then you have the SGAs, and you got these elections, and you got pharma. What else we got?
Education,
EDU.
illegals.
Oh no, not yet.
Oh, sorry.
We're
Getting ahead of myself.
We're
excited.
We'll get there, right? So we have all this kind of crazy stuff, but we got elections. We got media. Forgot about media. What am I missing? Tech. Why can't I read that?
Definitely tech.
Definitely tech?
Yep.
All right, so we got tech. Tech. Sorry, I had a bunch of things in that I wanted to make sure Oh, yeah. Okay. You got Weinstein. We'll put him down here. So we'll say that, call that Hollywood, right? Then you got over here. What was I thinking on that one? Oh, yeah, you got cops, right?
No, they're down below.
Not yet.
Yeah, they're going there.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah.
And then we got this thing right here, right? We'll say it, illegals. So, I mean, normally you'd have law up here, right?
Yep.
But so what happened over time is we got to a place where the law was here. So this is the line of the law. Now down here you still have the people, right? Still have the people. Now, I want anybody to prove that my model's wrong. Anybody. Now, I just said that illegals are above the law. How is that possible?
How is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, how could I justify that? How could I?
Well, because there's zero accountability from any one of these three. Nothing's being done with it. They're coming in, they're flooding in, and then they get to do whatever they want to do, and they're funded.
All right, so by definition, if you're an illegal, you're operating above the law because you're here illegally. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And cops are above the law because they have this thing called immunity.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, okay. And education?
Well,
You don't want to if you want to sue the school board, you got to ask permission from the court, right? So they have immunity. The media definitively have immunity because of what?
Because
The Smith Modernization Act of 2012,
yep.
which
Barack
basically
Obama.
said that they're allowed to lie to the people. They become the stick for whatever that happens up here in this environment,
Yep.
right? Tech companies, do they have immunity?
Absolutely, they do.
They canceled the president.
Yep.
Elections.
Rigged beyond measure.
Well, how do they get rigged? Oh, that's right. They have immunity up here too.
It's called protection.
Immunity. Oh, yep. Legislators that have immunity. Do elitists have immunity?
They have money, which buys immunity.
Yeah, so they have money. How about Weinstein, Hollywood?
Protected by.
Influence, right?
Protected by.
They're protected by it. Everything here is basically everything above this line of law. Is there a system by which any of this, if you're on this playing field above the law, has anybody been arrested? Has anybody that has stolen elections or done anything up until this point been arrested when President Trump came into office?
One person that I know of.
Okay, 350 million, so we're doing well. We have
Yeah,
one person. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got one person.
What that I
All
can
right,
come up
so
with.
the scorecard, there's one.
Yeah.
Okay, but the people are still down here.
Yes.
Okay, the executive branch can actually do whatever he wants, right? Governors, they can sign off on things. The judicial has complete immunity. How do you get rid of a judge?
I said yesterday it comes down to being able to sue civilly for punitive damages, starting at $1 million per case for victims that have been wronged done. But that's the only way I know.
But you can't. Yeah, but you can't sue a judge.
No, that's what I'm saying. You got to change the law.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's got to come from here to change it
All
there.
right, but if the legislature branch, by the way, are you allowed to insider trade?
No, of course not.
Well,
Well,
what?
I mean, they do, but you can't.
Well, they can. They have
Yeah,
immunity,
I can't.
but you can't
That's correct.
because you can go to jail for
Ask
it.
Pete Rose.
Okay. When Big Pharma kills people because they build a vaccine or put something out in the public, do they get held accountable?
Not so far.
Yeah. Are they allowed to change records like VARS records and VAERS records and things like that?
Repeatedly.
All right. So Department of Defense is up here, right? DOD. Big tech companies, they canceled President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They can cut you off at any time, do whatever they want with you. They can do so based on politics.
Agreed.
And you can't sue them. Why?
4,000 pages of reason why you can't that you sign up to.
So they have this rule that says that big tech companies are immune because they're just basically a platform
They're a
of
transfer of
ideas.
information.
But they can stop you from having an idea. They can actually change the algorithm and make your idea less important. They can also build bots in the tech environments to make an idea seem like it's bigger than it really is.
Correct.
Right? So they get to act with impunity. And media companies get to do whatever they want to people because they're on the same side as the judges, right? So they can basically do whatever they want. And elections, are they transparent?
No.
Do you have access to all the tools as a citizen, as the people that elected these people? Do you have access to, and are you allowed to look under the hood of elections?
Well, we did do it at the assembly here in Colorado.
No, and you can't, right? I mean, there's no. It's not a transparent. It's a trust us, bro. Right?
Yep.
So illegals, they can operate, hang out here. They get entitlements. By definition, they're above the law because they're allowed to exist here by the tens of millions. And who's responsible for funding all this?
We the people.
People. What happened on J6?
You mean unarmed people going in?
I mean, the media covered it up and said that it was an insurrection. The judiciary blocked any sort of defenses.
Correct.
And had people arrested, which this would include the DOJ, which would include the FBI, right? So it included all of that.
Yeah.
And they arrested over 1,800 people in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
They indefinitely confined them, and they made them as an example so that everyone else below the line, the people, would fall into line, correct?
Correct.
So Tina's down here, right? J6 is down here. Joe Oltmann is down here. Everyone's down here. And people are fighting to get up here. They're fighting, the pressure is here. So now I'm going to tell you my theory. I'm going to tell everyone my theory. Why do they hate President Trump?
Because he sees behind the curtains on all this stuff. He sees what's really going on,
So,
in my opinion.
So President Trump, in 2017, he said something. He said, I'm handing power back to the people. He recognized that the rule of law was so far below the system that he called this the what? He called it the cabal, right? The swamp. And that cabal was allowed to operate and do whatever they want. And in 2017, he went in and he changed a bunch of things and he pushed things up and tried to get accountability. And then something happened. He would always say that, hey, police officers are good people, they're good people. And then in 2020, what happened? We had to sacrifice something because people started waking up to this reality.
Yep.
Right? We have fathers that lose custody of their children. We have mothers that CPS can come in and steal their children and do so with impunity because the judiciary at the state level and the federal level does not believe in parental rights. We have the Department of Education, which allowed for porn books in schools and for curriculum to be centered around social justice, but got rid of math and science. And we saw a degradation of nearly 60% in the effective learning of our children. Less than 25% of kids now in the United States are proficient in reading and writing or anything and prepared for school. Yet 57% go on to go to higher education. How is it possible? How does that check?
Yep. Doesn't.
Media companies are allowed to collude with election companies as well as be having conversations with government agencies. So let's put government agents, CIA up here. They get to operate with impunity. They get to just hire them. If you go check it out right now, you'll see that a vast number of people in media were what? They were part of the CIA. So this line, over the last 30 years, I'm gonna tell you what has happened and why we're at $39 trillion in debt. 39 trillion. That's the current debt for the United States. Now, we're not talking about state debt now. We're not talking about the debt of California being nearly insolvent, Colorado basically not being able to hit their budgets, things happening in Virginia and pretty much every state except for Florida, right? Texas, underwater nearly $2.5 billion. Okay. Now I can put up here that there's an entitled group, right? We'll call it ENTs, that are up here as well in this little thing. So little by little, this line started here. And over time they learned, and they're like, oh, we need immunity. So the line moved to here. Then they're like, well, we have to be able to steal elections. So Clinton Curtis went and testified in 2004 that Congressman Feely asked a company that is a Chinese company based out of Florida, everything seems to be based out of Florida, that we need you to build it. It started in 2000. We need you to build us a system that allows for you to subvert elections. In 2004, before it happened. 2004 is also when you had Smartmatic and Sequoia voting systems and all these different election companies that were elections at this point started being handled by who? SGAs.
Yep.
Pseudo-government agencies. These are doing a public good. Now, they'd always done this with the DOD because they used things like, you had...
like Blackwater?
Blackwater, you have... I mean, these have immunity.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, the elections here became somewhat of a black box, right? So they put it behind this veil. You had a company in Serbia that was then... set up shop in Canada, then went and came to the United States and said, hey, CFIUS, by the way, CFIUS is the organization that basically oversees national security threats that's run by the legislature. It's run underneath the legislature, okay? And they said, Sequoia voting systems, you must sell. You have to divest. They had to divest from Smartmatic. So they had access to information that led them to believe it was a national security threat. And over a 3-year period of time, they divested, had new managers put in place, and was completely separated from Smartmatic. Did Smartmatic stop operating in the United States?
No.
No, they still operated in California. Did anybody do anything about them? No, because where's the line? See, the rules changed. The laws changed. But in order for the laws to change to make sure that this is absolute and that the people become slaves, they had to make sure that you couldn't come back from it. They had to make sure that they could elect people that then could put judges in places of authority and that there's nothing you could do about it. They had to make sure that the legislatures that went there that are dumber than rocks, that can't hold a conversation, that don't, like Victor Marx, know how to do debates, that are some of the most terrible people, bartenders. Ilhan Omar, I bet you couldn't pass a spelling test. You have people that don't have any, that don't represent any interest at all, were the only ones put up while the media did their bidding of saying these are the best people for the job. And you had to have bots and illegals up here, and you had to have bloated voter rolls, and you had to have the ability of the machines, and you had to have the mail-in ballots, and you had to have a system that is designed around being able to change not only the people that represent you, but the very laws that they put in place, the tax implications of this. Look, our taxes over the last 20 years have more than what?
Percentage-wise?
It was 29%. What is it now?
2.5 times?
It's 56 cents on the dollar. So you operate off 40. You operate off 44%. This is how much the average American gets to keep. You have property tax, you have sales tax, you have income tax, you have capital gains tax. You can't even get ahead even if you want to get tax. You have a death tax. You have personal property tax if you own a business. You have employee tax. You have FICA. You have to pay for Social Security. You have to pay half of it, 7.5%. You literally don't have, and you're paid, and every time you get taxed, as soon as you're done getting taxed, you go out there and they tax you again. Oh, you want to buy this? That's another 7%. That's another 10%. You have to pay tax on your cars. You don't own your homes because you have property tax. And they basically can come take it from you if you don't pay your bill.
That's correct.
What's your blood pressure feel like right now?
Well, I stay calm, cool, and collected on all things. I'm 130/90, but I'm typically 120/80. I haven't even gotten started yet. I'm just letting you talk.
How do you feel about this?
Well, it pisses me off. It's always pissed me off, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add 3 things to this in a minute when you're done.
Okay. Are illegals a net gain or not positive on our community?
Neither. They're not a net gain. Oh, they're a net gain, but they're not a net positive.
Do they get entitlements?
Sure. They get everything.
Free education?
Yeah.
So the education system over here, which has absolute immunity, tells them that, hey, you're special. You're a protected class. Are the people a protected class?
No.
Now, the people, white, black, green, yellow, purple, they're all those things, right? Mm-hmm. You think this disproportionately hurts black people over white people?
I'd say unequivocally. I would think that the people, they're being punished twice at this point in time because they're being utilized. They're being cropped up and they're being popped up. So they're being enslaved twice because they won't let them out of the system. So that's how I see it. I see that they're stuck, and as bad as they want to get out, they can't because it keeps them trapped in, and they keep voting for the same thing over and over. So that's why.
But do they keep voting?
Well, some do, some don't. But you understand what I'm saying. They can't remove themselves from there. They have a choice. They can leave, but the Democrats have surrounded them.
Do we have that? Do we have that picture? Can we put that picture up?
The millstone falls on everybody.
Do we have the picture? The millstone picture? Yeah. All right. I want to show you guys something. So this is the millstone upon the chest. This is the average American. This is why you have frustration. Now, does it say Republican or Democrat? Does it say any of that on that person? Does it say independent? I think everyone is taxed by the judicial system, which is unchecked, the indoctrination, which they push down on the people and say, swallow this or you're out. Flock cameras, so they make sure that you're under the watching eye of whoever it is that's behind that camera. They silence the people by saying you have a First Amendment right if they give it to you. You have entitlements that you're giving to other people that you have to pay for. You have illegal immigration that's taking away from the children and the people that have been here for generations. And you have taxes that are so overburdening and yet never go to the one thing that they're supposed to do, which is to make our lives better, our communities better, and more opportunity for our people in the future. Any of that untrue?
No, it's not untrue. The reason I said what I said a second ago was welfare should be in here.
Okay. Welfare up here?
Yeah. Because we're constantly contributing to $1 trillion program annually. The people are down here that are part of it, but they're supported up here and protected up here. That's why I said in inner city, we have huge problems.
Well, I mean, would the welfare be up there? Because, I mean, if we look at disproportionately as far as who gets welfare, is disproportionately illegals than does the people.
It's become that. But I'm talking multi-generational inner city welfare, $1 trillion in the budget. We're paying for it. The people that should be receiving it should be down here. What's happening is it's going here.
So the reason, I agree, but I think this is an underlying pinning of what's happening. This is part of the mechanisms by which these people are fed. Now, yesterday we talked about a CIA agent that had $40 million in gold bars, over 300 bars. He had watches and $2 million in cash, making about $155,000 to $165,000 a year.
Right.
How did he get $40 million in gold bars? Now, they said that they investigated it and it was the FBI, and I mean, $40 million in gold bars would be highly secured. Like, you wouldn't have $40 million in gold bars. How did the CIA guy that makes $160,000 a year? How did Pocahontas and all of those people get worth $300-400? What's the Pelosi? How did she get worth $400 million?
She's very accurate in investments.
Very accurate.
Yeah, she's very accurate, like 98%.
Has she ever been investigated?
Not that I'm aware of.
So roughly 1/3 of Congress, by the way, has been convicted of a crime, DUIs, tax evasion. They owe approximately, I think it was $1 billion or just under $1 billion in delinquent taxes. Anybody ever come pick them up?
No, but that's how they got Capone.
Well, they got Wesley Snipes, right? Yeah. Wesley Snipes had to do time in prison.
Did, yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody in Congress?
No.
Because they're what?
Yeah. Above the law.
Yeah, so the IRS is above the law because they can basically send you any bill they want and say you either pay it or else we'll come after you, right?
Yeah.
Or we'll come audit you, or we'll use this other stick in order to beat you.
Yeah, pay your
So they're-
taxes
so
on
they're
the
above
thing
it.
that you don't know, that you estimate, that you turn in, and then we'll tell you if you're wrong.
Yeah. Do we even own our roads?
No.
So they got to put that up here too, right? So you have tollways, right? So you got the tollways. Now they're completely above the law because they get to do whatever they want. Typically, it's a organization, a private equity firm that owns the tollways. Some of those, most of those, actually are foreign entities that are collecting the cash for
I think
building the road.
E470 is Australian owned.
Australian owned. It is. Yeah. So you got roughly $300 million that goes out
Yeah.
to this Australian company. It's like I would love that type of return. I think it's somewhere around a 4,000% return.
It's a great business model, actually.
Yeah. So the people are carrying all of the burden for illegals. Illegals are above the law because they're operating and they're in our country illegally, so that makes them above the law, right? And the judges are actually siding with illegals and saying do whatever you want and going after the president. So this is the president from 2017 to 2020. He's like, I'm going to fight for you. Then 2021 comes along. He talks about all of this, said the elections are rigged. You think he's the first one to talk about elections being rigged? No, he knew they were rigged. You have moms that have been screaming from the highest deal for decades, while it went from 1 in 20,000 for autism to 1 in less than 800 for autism today. 1 in 800. And they're like, it's the vaccines. I gave my child the vaccine on Thursday, and by Monday, he was nonverbal. And for the rest of his life now, he's going to be stuck in this perpetual deal where he can't take care of himself. And so those parents get out there and scream, and what did they say?
Yeah.
They didn't say it didn't even matter.
It's not their fault.
It's not only not their fault, but they have immunity. And by the way, it's absolute. Big Pharma has absolute immunity. And who funds pharma? The people do. Who funds the education? The people do. Who funds the IRS? The people do. Who funds the DOD? The people do. Who funds elitists? The people do. Who funds the ability for Hollywood to influence and create the Epsteins of the world? People do. Who pays for pharma? People do. Who pays for tollways? People do. Who pays the media to come and attack them? The people do. Who actually pays the salaries? The people do. And then you know what they do up here? They put criminals above us. And those criminals, they just leak them back down below the thing of law so they can actually do more. So you have people that are arrested 30, 40, 50 times.
Yeah.
So while they keep saying in the media that no one is above the law, what they're really saying is the people are not above the law. They're slaves. Everything else above here is above the law. There's no accountability. The judiciary is not going to say anything about the legislative branch. The legislative branch is not going to say anything about the executive branch. They're going to cover each other because they're all part of the same fraternity. And if they get one more layer down of either a religion or a group of people that come together, they even can call themselves a criminal enterprise. They literally can operate like the mafia. And then how do you sue them? They all have immunity. Tech companies have immunity. Media companies, well, they just get in a fight with the elections and say, we'll have an $800 million settlement, $787 million settlement. And so the media companies just kind of do whatever they want. They're largely housed by CIA. And you go check it out, by the way. Social media, again, if you go look at social media, look at some of the accounts that you see on LinkedIn. They were CIA analysts, now turned Facebook analysts. How many of those do we have? Illegals get free education. Illegals get free food. Illegals, we should feel bad for illegals. Everything's about them. Where's the veterans? Where are they? Yeah. So veterans are down there with the people. The problem is that as this grows up here, and the judiciary starts to do real harm. This is at the state level and the federal level, and the elections become black boxed, and they basically steal them with impunity. then it gets heavier because everyone down here that's the people, they're fighting whatever they can do to get above the line so they can be protected. And every time something happens, the people never get prosecuted because they have their own little group of people. And the judges, which are supposed to spin a wheel to have people sit on juries, they just take that away. And if they don't like you, they'll say it's a probable falsity, or they'll do whatever they can to wink, wink, and do a sua sponte and go back on maybe an ethical judge and say, we're going to change the ruling. Or, oh, it's worse. We're going to fine you over and over and over again. We're going to take away your son or daughter. We're going to force you to actually cut off their penis. We're going to force you to actually send your kid to a school. 20% of kids are running away from public school education, and yet this burden is literally crushing the people because they want more, and you're only surviving off 44 cents on the dollar.
Yep.
This is our problem. Our problem is that the people are selectively prosecuted. You have the young man down in Texas that stabbed a man through the heart. $250,000 bond. You have another man who shoots a guy in the stomach for punching him. And yeah, the Chud was a terrible guy, right? Walking around telling people they're chimping out and talking to black people. The guy probably wouldn't, I probably would want to hurt him.
Sure.
Right? But he shot the guy in the stomach for assaulting him, and he has a $1.25 million, and they want to block his GoFundMe. The bigger systemic issue that we have in our country is that everyone feels this line. Black people are down here too. Yeah. And black people are like, it's white people. Let me just tell you something, black people. It's not white people. White people are not your problem. It's these people. There's an Asian guy in, is it Raleigh, South Carolina?
The politician?
Raleigh? No, he owns a convenience store.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
A 15-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid, carrying a pistol, comes in, tries to rob him. They go out, they chase him down about 100 yards. Guy wins to point a gun at him back here, shoots him in the back, kills him. 3 years, no bail. This punk kid came in to do harm, went to shoot him. And the DA's like, oh, we're gonna hold him indefinitely for 3 years. The whole idea of it is that somewhere along the line, they did something wrong to this kid. No.
Yeah.
He was down here, and he's only keeping this. And he barely has enough money to feed his family. He's trying to find a way to survive, and somebody comes in from up here. These criminals, they come down here, and they try to take more from us than we've already had taken. We don't have anything left. And everywhere they turn around, they would say, oh, we need more taxes, more money. They're $39 trillion in debt because all these people have to eat. And you know who doesn't get to eat? The people don't get to eat. Black people, brown people, inner city people. You don't get an education, you get an indoctrination. You don't get anything. You get the millstone tied behind your neck, thrown in the middle of the water. Then they waterboard you, send you back out and say you're not doing enough because you're a racist, you're a homophobe. Oh, we put gay people up here too. I mean, they get a whole month. Veterans get 1 day.
Yep.
And we look at this thing and we go, show me where the United States, show me here. Show me anywhere here where any of this represents of, for, and by the people. I'll wait. You're not allowed to question elections. You're not allowed to question Big Pharma. You're not allowed to question tech. You're not allowed to question the media. Pseudo-government agencies, you can't FOIA them. You can't get information from them. Then they sue you with impunity, get you for defamation, even though you have all the evidence, and the court says, nothing to see here, you don't have standing, and oh, by the way, we'll walk past it. Because our boys over here in the media can take whatever they want. This is simple. At the very top of the web, you got the CIA, who walked into ODNI, Office of Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and said, thank you very much, we'll take our 40 boxes back. Walking past the executive branch, walking past the judicial branch, walking past the legislative branch, and God forbid someone in the legislative branch actually hold a committee meeting and hold someone accountable for not showing up. But the only people that get held accountable for not showing up, no, that's Peter Navarro. Doesn't show up, Peter Navarro goes to jail. Contempt of court. Show me where a Democrat inside of this system that was designed to make you slaves has done anything for the people. Anything. But they get out there and they write their little articles and they write their stuff about Tina Peters. Tina being down here, uncovered the fraud. Trump down here started talking about the CIA, started talking about elitists, started talking about the DOD, the IRS, the war machine that gets created. And in 2020, they said, we're going to absolutely punish you. And they gave a woman that for 30 years thought rape was sexy, goes to court for defamation. The judge walks right past it, gives her $89 million. This is the system right here. The system that can take from you whatever it wants, whenever it wants. And you can't question it. And if you fight it, the judiciary, which you can't sue, you can't hold accountable, they can break whatever law they want, gets to push down on the people and punish them. And that's where we're at. This is the system by which we live in. And President Trump got that. And then he got sued for, making sure he paid off the debt for buildings. And they said, oh, Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million. And that same judge had literally broken every law down the line. And they sit back and they're like, oh, we'll just tell the people about it. And the media sometimes will report it. But they always do it in such a way that's like, ho-hum, oh, this is curious. Not, this is really what's happening. And Big Pharma can kill your children. They can cut off your penis, tell you that there's 100 different people out there. And by the way, 100 different genders. And if you disagree with any of this, you're a racist, homophobe, anti-Semite. They can write articles about you. And it's not just the left. It's both sides. It's one road that leads to one outcome, and that's the destruction of the people. They want to keep you guessing and chaos, creating as much as they possibly can. By definition, illegals are above the line. By definition. This is what we're fighting. These people, these pigs up here, that's what we're fighting. The people are down here. The people are just trying to make a living. But now kids are trying to find a way to get up here, because if they don't get up here, guess what? You can't buy a house. You can't have opportunity. You can't have any sort of ability to feed your family. They get to live in mom's basement, hope that somehow it just works out. Their opportunities are next to non-existent. You go in the military, you serve. Maybe you actually make it out if you go into battle. You get back into society. And veterans, 22, 25, 30 of them a day commit suicide. We put Tina Peters in jail for 9.5 years. Yet the same person in a legislative position gets probation. Every day we see them differentiate between a Republican, a conservative. They literally have lists of how they can push down on the people and take what's never theirs. And they wonder why we're pissed off. They wonder why. And if you're listening right now, this is the stuff they've been blocking me from talking about for the last 6 years. This is it. Before that, I was the darling of the business, right? Just go out there and do your thing, Joe. Then I became the most dangerous man in the country. Because being on a call with Eric Coomer, don't worry about it, Trump's not going to win, I made effing sure of it. He was here. November 2nd, 2020, on a call with Chris Krebs with a bunch of other radical retards, all talking about the election that happened the next day. Anybody else from the people down there on that call? No. We had to find out about it by accident because President Trump went back into office. We have stacks of information. We have a judge in D.C. and the Patrick Byrne v. Dominion case that has a treasure trove of emails, a treasure trove of facts related to Eric Coomer, Dominion Voting Systems, John Polis, to show that they were lying about everything. Now, all of these people got put in those positions of trust and authority by lying, cheating, taking from you, making you live off 44 cents while they say you're not giving enough. Give me more. Now, elitists are up here. They've already admitted they don't pay taxes. Why would they? And they're all millionaires and billionaires. And if it wasn't for Elon Musk coming in, and by the way, there's the liberal white women right here. You have the liberal, retard white women that try to tell the black people and brown people that it's all the other people that are doing it to you. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's not. It's all these people. And yeah, you're right, Jeff. Cloud seeding. Did we ask for that? Did you ask for cloud seeding?
Nah.
They finally have to admit they're cloud seeding. Then they have to admit that somewhere along the line while they're cloud seeding, that they now have aliens. And they leak it to us little by little just to create this distraction. You think YouTube is out there knocking anybody down for talking about flat earth? No, but if you talk about the fact that our election systems are subverted because you can see it, because you're the people with the millstones around your neck and tied to your chest, guess what? They'll make sure that illegals, though, they get theirs. Illegals, by definition, live above the law. They live above the law. These pigs that are above here, they just want more and more and more and more. And they want to take more and more and make it impossible for you to go through an appeal. Impossible for the judiciary. Somewhere in the middle of all this, over here, is the Supreme Court. And every time the Supreme Court rules for the people, they all scream. Every one of them. Republicans, Democrats. Just make sure that they get theirs, though. And if they get on a stand, they'll say, we want you to have the Second Amendment. No, they don't. Because they can realize that they're actually almost to the point where they've killed off the people. See, there is no Republican, there is no Democrat, there is no independent. The parties are a facade. They're a way to control you. There should be a third party that's called the party of the people. Because what you have here is nothing but kabuki theater. It's the people that get trampled. And somewhere along the line, President Trump realized that this pressure that he was feeling, that he wasn't going to survive it. And he still fought and fought and fought and fought and fought, got himself back into a position where he was in pole position. But something over time happened. And you can see it in his countenance. You can see it when he gets on TV. You can see it when he speaks. President Trump is disgusted at some point that he had to make his way back up here and be above the law. He had to do things and maybe violate the ability for us to get things across the finish line because he had too many Judases and he had too many Brutuses. And how do I know that that's true? Because he's had to compromise not with the left, but with his own party. And John Thune is up here feasting off of you, going online, wearing his tie, trying to look nice, while telling you that there's nothing wrong with our elections and we don't need the SAVE Act. And you got the leftists that are out there talking about our elections and saying, hey, nothing to see here. And the same stealing of elections and the dishonesty that goes on at the highest level of our government then matriculates down to every part of the Republican Party. And so the only people that want to be a part of the Democrats and the Republicans inside the party are people who are either retarded, and there are a lot of them, or evil. And then there's other people that frankly they're trying to stay a part of it. I tried. But as you look at this, and you're the people, now I think you understand what Dave Clements said when he said, let my people go. And I care more about the brown people and the black people and the Asian people and the poor people, because this number, 44 cents on the dollar, doesn't mean anything to them. The prison systems are filled with men that frankly grew up in the first grade, second grade. They thought, yeah, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an athlete. Only the real dream that they were sold is how to be a drug dealer. And they did do something for us. They moved cops down here, right? They had to have a sacrificial lamb because everyone has too much immunity. And there's no prosecutions that are happening. And the people that are being prosecuted, you have the DAs and the AGs that are saying, well, it's complicated. I want to make sure we can win the case. But they let things fester for years because the process is the punishment. Then guys like me get involved and we say the things that I'm saying right now, and people wonder, like, how in the world did you get to this place? Evil wins when good men do nothing.
I'm going to show my part, if I may, sir. You can hold on to that. I'm just going to kill just a small piece of this I want to hit this from 3 angles very quick. I want to hit it from the local level, I want to hit it from the county level, and I want to hit it from the highest level. That right there, to me, should always be up here above law. Man's law always answers to God's law, period. When we took this out, right here, all of this started, and it grew, and it metastasized, and it's turned into what it is. And Joe, you did an exceptional job laying this thing out. I don't think anybody can argue the argument, but I would add something to it. I want to put something in perspective for a second. When this was right there at 22 trillion, somebody showed me a figure and a mathematical equation to something. I've never forgot it. Now we're at 39 trillion, so we've almost doubled this. If you lay down $1 every second of time, $1, $2, $3, $4, to count to 1 million, do you know how long it takes? You're a math guy. 11.5 days. To count to 1 million, 1 second at a time. Imagine a dollar bill getting dropped down 1 second at a time. To count to 1 billion.
111 days.
31 years. Here you go, boys and girls. Lesson over on math.
Oh, yeah, okay.
To count to 1 trillion, 1 second at a time. $1 bill. We got 39 trillion. Imagine this. Dollar bill. You're a taxpayer. You're just sitting here watching your dollar go out. 31,709 years. Count to 1 trillion. And we got 39 of them. When we took this out, we took this out of schools, we took this out of families, we watched the welfare program go, starting in the 60s, and it just kept developing and developing and developing. And this isn't by chance that this happened. This is systematic. It's intentional. We all know it. All of this above the law up here, this was equalized when God's law was in place. We had very little issues back in the 50s when God was in the classroom, when the Bible was in the classroom. People can say what they want to say, but this right here has been stuffed so far down below here that half the people even in here no longer recognize this. And that's the people below the line.
So President Trump recognized something that I think is important. I agree with you fully. So if we put Christ up here, if we put Jesus up here, something happens, right? Because the sacrifice becomes greater than the man. I live my life that way, by the way, because I keep talking. I keep fighting. You live your life up there.
Yes,
you
sir,
keep talking. You keep fighting. Most people don't. Most people, politicians, they're constantly trying to get above this line. They're constantly trying to get to the point where they can breathe, right? Because above that, this is below water. The people are below water, fully below water. They're fully below water. Tina Peters got out because they're like, the people were getting too, that this was happening, the pressure was happening. But when President Trump talked about elections, when President Trump came and talked about elections, he realized that the only way over time you can equalize what's happened is to return elections to the people. That's why I talked about it. That's why this is actually why it's been so important for me to talk about elections. And the SGAs that, by the way, are suing me, meaning Eric Coomer. So he can talk about being a Satanist, raping his wife, peeing on her, making her bark like a dog. He can go run into a building, run away, go drink, get drunk, and lie to the police and get away with it, commit a crime, a felony, get away with it because his lawyer friends show up on the side of the road and be like, we got you handled, we'll negotiate this deal for you. He can go get a DUI in 2012 and they find a way for the CIA or whoever to get in the middle of it and say, let's get rid of that, because he's not the people. See, Eric Coomer operates above this line. He sees us all as slaves. You can see it by the way he talks, the way he walks, the things that he thinks that he understands. Tech companies, you think they care about us? You think that anyone in the legislature as a whole care about us? You think the judiciary, you think those judges, when they're sending a person to jail for 30 years while sending a criminal back to the streets after 40 or 50 arrests? You think they care about us? They know what they're dealing with. They have a profile. Put that person back on the road. Put that person back on the street. Give them another chance. They want evil to thrive down here with the people to create chaos so that we can ignore all the other things. I had a friend of mine that called me and he said, Joe, don't do this. I've done this model for a year and a half. First time that I actually put it out on paper was literally a couple weeks ago. And I put it out on paper for a small group of people that are a part of the Republican Party, and they were shaken. They were visibly shaken. And yesterday I did it. And then I put it out there and people were like, that's it. That's it.
Can I show you one more thing?
Yeah.
So you want to hit right here?
Yeah.
I want to read this to y'all straight off the Colorado Secretary of State website. This is Jenna Griswold. I want you guys to understand this. The following forms of identification are acceptable to vote.
Yeah.
You with me? I'll speed through it. A valid Colorado license, cool. U.S. passport, cool. Valid employee identification card. Photograph with eligible elected issue from the branch Department of Energy, any U.S. entity of government. Okay, fine. A valid pilot's license. Interesting. A valid U.S. military ID. Okay. Here we go. Here's the big one. A copy of a current utility bill, bank statement, paycheck. I'm going to repeat that. A current utility bill, bank statement, or paycheck.
No, it doesn't say that. It says a copy of.
Copy of.
Yeah. A copy
You
of.
can walk in with a copy of your utility bill and you get to vote. And you wonder why that is happening.
They think
And that's here in Colorado.
they think you're stupid.
That's legal, by the way.
Illegals are above the law. I can literally Photoshop. I could literally Photoshop a utility bill. I could do anything I want in order to move this. Do you understand how absolutely corrupt and broken our system is? When the people in positions of power above this try to justify to us that they're doing it for the people. Does this look like they're doing it for the people? The word illegal is illegal for a reason, and it's above the law. You don't have to, you could break the law. Come here, break the law. Come do what you want. We're going to give you money while we step on the people. Ask a black person in the hood whether or not they get $4,700 a month on the average per person. And that's what they do. That's what they do. This entire system was designed because you're a slave. This entire system is no different than what is happening in Australia, the UK, France, pretty much every country out there except for two, Poland and Russia. That's interesting.
Poland and Russia.
Poland and Russia. Turkey has their problems with illegal immigration. We saw what happened in Ukraine, where people are dying on the fishbowl. Nobody's even talking about Ukraine anymore. Slava Ukraine, right? Slava Ukraine, the place that you had Burisma, and you had all this other stuff that was happening, and you had all this corruption. You had people that were inside of the Ukrainian government that were saying at the highest level, they were the GAG equivalent. And they said that Biden is absolutely corrupt. And you know what we did with it? We did nothing with it because the line is here and you are here. And we have independent media down here, by the way. We have independent media. You're down here too. Because they get to dictate what you actually can make. Because they get to pick winners and losers here too. They hate me because I found a way to go to spiderweb to 50 different sites and to put it up on my website and do all these other things and understand the model. I'm going to play something else because the judges are the biggest problem in this. These are the people that are allowing all this to happen.
Bar none.
They are the people. These are the people that see you as worthless slaves. These are the people that have done an enormous amount of harm to our society. They put the criminals on the street. They self-deal. They rub the backs. How many of them have you think have been arrested for immunity? And let me just tell you something else. If you're in Colorado, there's a case called the Christopher Gregory case. It is the largest corruption case in U.S. history out of Colorado. The largest. The largest corruption case. And the case, part of it is still under what's called QTAM. That means sealed, de-sealed. You're not allowed to see it. It sounds like the information coming out of the Dominion case that the judge in Washington, D.C. sealed up and kept away from public eyes. That said, oh no, we're going to keep it confidential. Or the fact that Eric Coomer reserves the right to say that his deposition is private because the case inside of judiciary has nothing to do with truth. It has to do with procedure and how they can maneuver around making sure that justice is served. But in the Christopher Gregory case, he's got every one of the Colorado Supreme Court justices dead to rights. He's got recordings, he's got documentation, he has paid bribes. Not just the 2.3 of Macias contract that was paid out as a bribe because they knew about sexual improprieties by massive numbers of people inside the judiciary in the state of Colorado. No, not just because of that. But the nearly $15 million and the interference by Polis into the legislature that blocked the ability for them to do an investigation. Or A.G. Weiser, who literally instituted the ability for millions of dollars more to be paid in bribes to other judges. And there's a Supreme Court Justice, Melissa Hart, ran into cars, cost $100,000 or more in damage, was drunk. They covered it up. Later failed to show up for court as a Supreme Court Justice and had a bench warrant. Her dog bit the neighbor. The police showed up, called the chief and said, she pulled her clout card, here, clout card. And they said, oh yeah, just go in and handle it tomorrow. Was put on probation, which you have a duty to actually report when someone inside the judiciary at a judge level commits a crime, and did they? No, they never even reported it. And Christopher Gregory, by the way, was the head of the Judicial Committee on Discipline, who was ushered out because he said, what you're doing is illegal. He now has been ostracized, and we're not on the same side of the aisle. He is a liberal, I am a conservative. And I will tell you this, he goes, yeah, we don't think the same way. And I'm like, I don't know how you think the same way when this is what you're up against. This is what they're up against. This is what the people are up against. And you hire a lawyer, well, guess what? The lawyers are up here too. Because when the lawyers don't do what they're told to do, like John Eastman, they strip them of their ability to practice law. Today I went on a mission to look for cases of judges that had done things wrong in the state of Colorado. I found thousands of cases just in the last 2 years of judges.
As have I.
I found out that the judge involved in the Eric Coomer case, I want you guys to all know this, was directly tied to the company, the law firm, that represented Staple Street Capital, which owned Dominion Voting Systems that Eric Coomer worked for. It didn't take me very long. And you could say, well, it mainly didn't happen at the same time. It's a fraternity, because you can see it, all the stuff. They stripped me of my attorney, stopped Peter Tickton from representing me. They stripped me of my attorney and stopped David Perry from representing me. They stripped me of my ability to have Stephanie Lambert represent me. And everywhere along the line, they said, now you can't talk about the Antifa call. Now you can't do this. We're going to go ahead and side with them on this. We're going to strip you of your defenses. Does it sound just like what they did to Tina Peters? There's no difference. And people wonder why, after standing up for 6 years and being very consistent, how I see things. Prove to me that the model that I just put up here is wrong. Prove it to me, Kyle Clark. Show me how what I wrote up here is wrong. Can you tell me anything that I said up here is wrong?
No. Should have Kyle come in. Sit in one of these chairs.
You're a slave. You're a slave. You're a slave, and frankly, it's become to the point where we barely have a choice. We know who has actually betrayed us. We know who has taken from us. We know who caused $39 trillion in debt. We know. We know that the evil is this line up. And if you go back to 1645, the Magna Carta was the rule of law that was used to dictate the fact that the revolutionaries would win, and they did. And the Revolutionary War was caused by England being above the law. And the people in the colonies were forced to do whatever they wanted by edict. What's the difference between the edicts that were given by England that taxed you and what Jenna Griswold did specifically in order to tell you, slave, you don't get access to any of the election systems, where they can operate with impunity? And by the way, let's go back to the Christopher Gregory case for a minute. The AUSA, Kevin Traskos, who hid the information inside of the Christopher Gregory case, said that there was no there. So you have the AUSA of the DOJ for Colorado that looked at the Christopher Gregory case, all the stuff that we've been able to see, and did not disqualify himself until it was pointed out that he was married to Melissa Hart, the Supreme Court justice in the state of Colorado, which also ruled to have President Trump removed from the ballot in 2024.
That's right.
That same person, a part of the same fraternity, stood in the way of justice for over 2 years. And then when everyone disqualified themselves, which, by the way, every judge inside the building, that the judge that represents Eric Coomer is on, who worked for the law firm that represented Staple Street Capital, which is Dominion Voting Systems, he passed it off. They all got off the deal. But they all were committing crimes. All of them. But they can get away with whatever crimes they want. And you have Judge Barrett, that deviant that put Tina Peters in jail for 9.5 years. And then you got Bennett, and you got Weiser, and they come out and they just eviscerate Tina Peters, go after Polis. We're like the most dangerous state in the country. Judges are acting with impunity, putting people on the streets, and they are attacking the good people, literally with impunity. But you know what? At least we have Lauren Boebert. At least we have Lauren Boebert. At least we have Lauren Boebert. She'll fight for us, right? Lauren Boebert is the congresswoman that was so popular that she had to flee CD3 because they couldn't stand her and go run in a different district that had amnesia and knew nothing about her other than, well, she's on TV all the time. Oh, maybe that's the person we should have. Who went on Kyle Clark's show the day before the vote for the state chair and repeated a lie and said that I should be condemned for calling for the execution of Polis, Weiser, and Griswold because they are the synagogue of Satan. Which, by the way, if you have ever read a Bible, which you didn't even graduate from high school, Lauren Boebert, you would know that the synagogue of Satan is actually in Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9, that talks about people hiding behind good people in order to make sure that they were above reproach.
True story.
That's what we have. We have the line here. Lauren Boebert's up here. So we're going to put Lauren Boebert up here. She's up here too. All the Congress people, they're up here. President Trump put himself down here, had to come back up here to get some stuff done. Hold his nose. You can see it in how he acts. You can see it. You can see it. He had to make some compromises that, frankly, make his stomach turn. Because he wanted to do all the stuff that brought those elections back down here. But you got all the people up here that are actually working together. Did they impeach the judge that went after President Trump?
No.
No.
I want to say something.
Yeah, sorry. I went on my diatribe.
No, you're good. You said all of Congress. I'm going to push back because I've always said left wing, right wing. It's all the same bird with the exception of a few feathers.
Yeah.
There's a few good feathers in there.
Yeah.
There's a few good people in the halls of justice in D.C. I personally know them. They're my friends. I know the fight that they're in, but it's an uphill battle. What breaks my heart about Lauren Boebert, and you hit the nail on the head.
She was my friend.
Dude, I broke bread with her. I've sat down with her. I sat there and I watched her move from one district to another. I've invited her onto the podcast. I was like, come down and share your story. Tell everybody what's going on. It breaks my heart when somebody has the opportunity to tell the truth. And I watched her on that podcast a couple days before the chair election. And I thought to myself, what in the world are you saying? But I don't want that to take away from the handful of folks that are in there.
Handful.
But there are there. and I'll stand with them. I'll stand shoulder to shoulder with them all day long, because there are good men that I know personally that have not only served their country, been successful, don't take a dime, take their straight pay. Some of them don't even take that. Fight. There's some good people in there, but they're far and few between.
You have a woman that walked in the Antifa riot in Denver in June of 2020 that went on to be the judge in my case that overturned a 20-year judge. This is Marie Avery Moses, who then did a sua sponte and gave Eric Coomer's attorneys another bite at the apple when they were denied it from the previous attorney or judge, who resigned because, frankly, she was disgusted about what the judiciary had become. And the judges now are all in the same boat because none of them are speaking up at what they need to. And we have a judge right now that is a sitting judge that came into my office, we talked about this, and said, I want to blow the whistle on them, but I need you to hide my name, hide my voice, hide everything about me. Deathly afraid of the repercussions of coming forward. You have two previous judges that talk about how evil the system is. One left because they couldn't take it anymore. The other one has been blowing the whistle for nearly 15 years, and no one will listen to them because they were ostracized, and they made it to nearly the highest court in the state of Colorado. People below here have a conscience, but the people are nothing more than a currency for these people.
You mentioned George Floyd yesterday.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine who works for the Bureau. He was came out of his field agency office. This was during the George Floyd issue that was going on. Took a picture of FBI agents by the dozens kneeling in the street as a black parade marched by. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this, then you're just not awake. You need to go read a book.
The people need to get their elections back. And one way or another, we need to take them back. We're not asking. The problem is we keep asking. The problem is we keep thinking, oh, we might go to jail. Yesterday, I had an FBI car in my parking lot.
I watched it.
Yeah, with blacked out windows. Who came into I can't make a phone call right now. I can't make a phone call in my phone without it cutting out. I can't make a phone call. I can't have a conversation without having to worry about what's going on in this little thing right here. So right now, this is like right now. So this whole thing, CIA, this is all real. This is real. This is real. All this is real. $39 trillion is real. And you, the people, you don't matter. You're not shit. Go make me 56 cents today, slave. All right. History lesson's done. Play cut 2, then take us to a recess, and then we'll jump back on the couches. Is that all right? All right. We'll be right back after this. Go ahead and hit the share button. And this is definitely one that's, I think, worth the share. Micah, thanks for this part. Let's get to the rest.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back.
The report claims the judge had sex on at least 5 occasions over a 2-year period inside her chambers with a high-ranking police officer. Employees interviewed during the investigation described multiple incidents where they allegedly heard people having sex through the walls. One court clerk testified to hearing what was described as unsettling noises, kissing, and music coming from the judge's chambers.
Why should the everyday person care about these allegations?
The American legal system depends on honesty and truthfulness.
This investigative report did not identify the judge or the officer, but multiple sources confirmed to Channel 2 that federal judge Eleanor Ross and Atlanta Police Deputy Chief Kelly Collier were the 2 accused. In the complaint, the judge's employee said she attended a primary election victory party for a district attorney on May 21st, 2024. A source provided Channel 2 this photo showing Ross at that party. The order also says the judge presided over a hearing the following day. Channel 2 obtained federal court records showing Ross presided over a supervised release hearing on May 22nd, 2024. And regarding the officer, The chief judge wrote the officer has worked for the PD since 1998, later adding that the officer has held this role since 2025. Atlanta police records show Collier joined the department in 1998, and his LinkedIn profile reflected a promotion in 2025. That LinkedIn page has since been taken down. I reached out to Ross, but a representative responded with no comment. The chief judge has already issued Ross a private reprimand, and she agreed to write apology letters to her employees. She was also reprimanded for attending a political event, as federal judges are prohibited from participating in political activities. The chief judge said harsher discipline was not imposed because of the judge's exemplary service to the court, along with the fact the judge ended the relationship and accepted responsibility.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week, so whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Even if you own 37 acres of land, the government will still control your land. Did y'all know that? Because I didn't know that, and I just walked into the municipal building. Okay, I'm gonna put a tiny home on my property. And he immediately said, nope, you can't do that. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I have 37 acres. There's plenty of room to put a tiny home. Nope, you can't do that. You're zoned to have one house on your property. I'm like, dude, my property is massive, okay? And this is for my kids' future, to have a tiny home. Ultimately, I want three little tiny homes in the back corner of our property. Nope, you can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? No. Zoning is planned for your, I'm like, what plans does the government have for my property? I don't understand what you're saying to me. And you could tell this guy had never gotten any pushback because I was pushing back. Like, you're telling me I can't put a tiny home on my property for my children to live in when they're 18, 19, 20, young adults. What are you talking about? No, it's not zoned for that. Okay, so rezone it. And then he's like, well, there's a floodplain here. And I was like, he said 100-year floodplain. I said, well, what year are we on? He couldn't tell me. He's like, it doesn't work like that. I was like, what do you mean? What year are we on? Because we put a drain tile in, so I know it's not flooding back there, okay? So what year is your 100-year floodplain plan? On the map of my property, I can tell you it doesn't flood right here. It doesn't work like that. I'm like, then how does it freaking work, okay? So you're telling me the 100-year floodplain plan is really forever floodplain plan, according to what you guys think about my own property. Is that what you're telling me? And then he's like, well, you have to rezone, but they're not going to approve you. I was like, why wouldn't they approve me? It's my property. So it's absolute madness. And let me tell you, he was speechless. And then he ended up giving me contact information to rezone my property so that way I could ultimately build at least one other home on my land. What the actual F? I had no idea. I thought I was going to go in there and just say, like, give me the form so I can build a tiny home. And they're like, nope, watch, wait, I will come back to you because guarantee you. The hill I die on is when I'm building 3 tiny homes on my 5-acre plot that I rezoned so that my 3 children can have a space on our family compound. I'm not settling. God bless y'all.
What do you think of that?
Well, that actually does take my blood pressure up because that's real time right there. All this other stuff, this is developed over decades and decades and decades, and we've been stripped from it, and it irritates me and pisses me off on multiple levels. I relate to that woman because my HOA is beating the crap out of me right now on an 18-year-old fence that they want me to paint by December, and the boards are dry rotting off of the posts right now. They want me to paint dry rotted posts. They have no battle plan. They have no infrastructure, no development, no monetary gain to put a new fence in. But I'm going to get punished to the tune of $500 a month. So I've been told in my letter if I don't put paint on a fence by December, on a fence that's falling down due to my HOA. Terrain Castle Rock, by the way. Pisses me off.
So the first clip that we talked about was a judge that had sex 5 or 6 times in her chambers.
Yeah.
At the courthouse.
With the police chief?
With the deputy police chief.
Okay.
And they said that harsh penalties were not required because of her exemplary record to the court. Again, I want to show you the model that we had before. We're going to pretty it up for you, by the way. So we're going to show you that you are a slave. I'm going to prove to you you're a slave. I'm going to prove to you that this disgusting woman who's a judge down in Georgia, who decided that there is no ethics, there's no morals. She can do whatever she wants. She, by the way, can rain down on her people meaning her plebes, her slaves, sharecroppers, and there's nothing you can do about it. And another judge decided that here's the line for the law. You're above the law. Yeah, don't do that again. You broke it off with them, so it's okay.
What did they do to the cop?
Nothing.
Shame on any cop that violates your color of authority.
Nothing.
I didn't
special treatment.
I didn't serve to watch cops do this, by the way.
That's a judge.
I know, but it's a cop too. They're both doing the same thing. It ticks me off.
My point is that the system is designed to take away from you what was never theirs to take. Here's more. I just want you to know that you're a slave and that you're below that line. You have millstones that are stacked on your chest, and you frankly are a slave. And if you're a Democrat or an independent, you're watching this right now, I want you to know, I'm sorry, you're also a slave. It doesn't matter. There is no Democrat, there is no Republican, there's no independent. You're either a good person or you're a piece of shit. And there's a lot of pieces of shit that are above that line. And if you're above that line, above the law, and you're doing things by the book, but you're not blowing the whistle on everyone else, then you're just equally as bad, in my opinion. Equally. You're like watching a woman get raped and saying nothing about it. That's what you are. Let's go ahead and play this one. This is out of Colorado. This is, Illegals are above the law. Play this.
Colorado. On March 28, 2025, my daughter Chris's life and mine changed forever. My 22-year-old daughter was riding on the back of a motorcycle with a friend when Valeria Bermudez Marcano blew through a stop sign, cut across multiple lanes, and hit them, launching my daughter headfirst into the concrete barrier at Parker and 225. Instead of staying to help, to even check if my daughter was still alive, as any decent human being would do, Valeria fled the scene. She did not stay, she did not call 911, she did not check whether my daughter was still breathing. Passengers Luis, Bello, Rodriguez, and Stephanie Carolina Marcano ran from the scene with her. They ran, leaving my daughter unconscious, bleeding, and alone in the roadway like cowards. Early predictions were that she would not make it. She suffered an open fracture of her femur, fractured arm, extensive facial fractures, and a traumatic brain injury so severe that her prognosis was grim. Our beautiful daughter's face was unrecognizable. Slowly, we spent the next few days getting more information about the driver. Valeria Bermudez Marcano was an unlicensed and uninsured Venezuelan immigrant. She was released on a $500 bond 2 days later.
Now see, that's where my blood pressure goes through the roof. I just want to hug that woman right now and tell her how sorry I am that the system has failed her. Shame on the DA and shame on the judge.
She was arrested, let go on a $500 bail on January 21st, 2026, because Colorado failed. That mother, she was arrested by Customs Enforcement, U.S. Immigration, ICE, and deported.
To face what?
On April 2nd, 2026, she faced nothing because that woman from Venezuela was a weapon to be used against the people. She was above the law. That's the reality of where we are right now, is that they're all above the law. And as they talk about as we talk about that woman who's 22 who will never have a life independent of her mother, that will never have the ability to live a good life, won't be able to challenge herself or have children, or that other woman was given a second chance at life in another country, a second chance that that young lady was not given. And I'm sorry, I'm slowing it down because I'm actually just really angry and I want to hurt someone because I hate the idea of what that represents.
I'll let you breathe for a second. I've been saying this guy's on our podcast on the Daily Carry. I mean, we're 95 episodes in, and I bet I've said this on 20 different episodes. We need to hold judges. We need to pass legislation to pass a law that holds judges to account punitively on cases like this where somebody is released. The judge, starting at $1 million per case, family should have the right to sue judges, and you will see this crap stop almost overnight. We have to have something that gives the power to the people to go after judges. It's not good enough to say that we have laws on the books when we're not enforcing it. We just had a kid down in Castle, a kid, he's a grown man, he's a 30-something-year-old man, acts like a kid. So let me correct that. Went to a bar in Castle Rock, drank at the bar, left the bar, had some kind of run-in at the bar, goes back to the bar the next night, tries to light the bar on fire, gets arrested, gets put in jail, gets let out on a PR bond. That's a nothing bond.
And he's, just so you know, he got let out on a PR bond, and which makes it worse, this is a conservative county.
It's a conservative county.
Yeah. Run by crooked, trash judges that are appointed by a radical leftist governor.
So the guy, 12 hours later, goes back and finishes what he starts, burns down a family business that's been there for, what, two and a half, 3 decades? A Castle Rock staple, if you will. Gone forevermore. You know what his bond was the second time? $10K, 10%, $1,000 to get out. You know what his previous charges were prior to those 2 arsons?
Assault.
Arson.
And assault. Assault and battery.
You can't make this stuff up. The entire point of a bond, look, my entire career in law enforcement, I did most of the what I would call the high speed stuff in South Carolina. We had judges there that were actual judges. There were solicitors there, solicitors and magistrates. I arrest a guy on a burglary, have to get into a foot chase, and he's resisting arrest. You know what his bond was the next day? $500,000, starting. They didn't mess around down there. I come out here to Colorado. You got a guy who tried to burn down a building, let out with nothing.
And 38 people lost their jobs.
Yeah, overnight.
38 people lost their jobs, and these are single moms. These are people that, I mean, it's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant.
And so 38 people lost their jobs, have to go look for new jobs.
Meanwhile, that same dude, let's just play this out hypothetically, that same guy who gets out on his second bond can go assault, physically rape a child, get a PR bond. Do it again.
3 times.
Get a PR bond. Do it again. Get a PR bond. And on the fourth one, we'll decide that, yeah, maybe now we need to do something. It's kind of like the dude that killed Irena Zerka on the subway, who had multiple prior felonies, who stood trial, who got a hand slap every single time, and now all of a sudden, he's not capable to stand trial. Magically, you can't do that. This is where you see my blood pressure go through the roof, because I spent half my adult life going after these scumbags, having been sodomized as a kid for 2 straight years. I made it a point to go after the guys that hurt the kids, that hurt the women. When I come to Colorado, I'm putting people in jail, and now we're letting them back out faster than we can put them in on a PR bond for raping kids. Judges need to go away. We need punitive, I'm telling you, we need punitive lawsuits, Joe, against these judges, starting at 7 figures on every single case when they've let somebody out.
I think we're past it.
I think we need it.
I think the American people are past it. I think the American people are now realize they're slaves. If you can show me how that model worked, where the people were held accountable for stealing your elections, where they were held accountable for doing horrible things to people, you could show me where anyone in that power structure did anything to prevent it other than President Trump. Show me another. Show me another.
There's not. But that's why I'm suggesting that at a bare minimum, what else is the starting point?
Because
if it's not there,
gets
it's
to
tyranny.
walk in and just take whatever they want anyway.
Right.
And a guy that worked in the CIA gets $40 million in gold bars and $2 million in cash and a bunch of watches to do the biddings of the CIA. And God knows what capacity. We don't even know. Like, we have no idea what capacity. Oh, and he's out on bail. Well, let's talk about this. If you're connected to the right circles, you also get out. Remember what happened up in Minnesota?
Which case?
The billions of dollars that were taken by the Somalis, sent back. Go ahead and play it.
Nick Shirley.
Meet Tajir Rage, the husband of Huda Ibrahim, a sitting Somali-born council member for St. Cloud City, Minnesota, who was reportedly caught on surveillance footage helping a woman submit multiple ballots under her name. When Rage was confronted by authorities for his suspicious activity, he provided a fake name. However, moments later, he was forced to admit that he lied when a credit card dropped from his pocket, revealing his actual identity. But the suspicious activity didn't stop there. Reports from election specialists claim that Rage had accompanied at least 100 individuals to vote, identifying himself as a Somali translator. However, when he was asked to translate the voter oath, he became confrontational and claimed voter suppression. There were also other strange details submitted by voters accompanied by Rage, which include repeat default birthdays all listed as 01/01 and mismatched photo IDs. Following an initial investigation, Rage was charged with giving false information to a peace officer and driving without a license. He took a guilty plea for the license charge and only received 1 year of probation. No charges have been filed related to the election or voter fraud. Cases like this cannot be dismissed. This needs to be fully investigated now.
Above the law. Above the law, slave. I just want you all to know you're a slave, and that the illegals and people from other countries come here and they are giving jobs by radical leftists to rule with impunity over the people, to enslave us here in this country. And they did so by stealing elections over and over and over again, so that we're actually not represented anymore. And then they go into the schools and they try to teach people about the fact that, oh, this is because of racism. Everyone benefits from the system except for the ones that fund it. Veterans don't, they defend it. Police officers, no immunity anymore because the judges have it, so they don't care about the police officers. Go decide to do it. They're just going to let the criminals back out on the street. And they replace those police officers with people that let people get away with crimes. They're the hired henchmen. The enforcers, those are the judges. They get to rule with an iron fist.
Municipal case, Castle Rock. 10 years ago, I had a barking dog. I had a basset hound. Neighbor across the street hated dogs, came over, taunted the dog, put him on video, barking. I get a ticket from animal control, show up on this date. I go down to the courtroom. My wife and I sat there to wait for our testimony. They did all the traffic cases first, 27 of them, 27 cases, 27. I'll say it again, 27 cases went up before us. And the judge advised, if you plead, he tells them, if you plead this to a defective vehicle, I'll lower your charge and won't affect your insurance. How many people do you think pled to a defective vehicle?
27.
27. The cases are all done. He calls us up. Before I say a word, he calls us up. He says, I just want you to know before we get started, I had a neighbor who had dogs and it drove me crazy. It absolutely drove me crazy. So before we get started, and this is on record, I want you to know that the fine is going to be somewhere between $90 and $1,000, and I'm already leaning towards $1,000, so you better have a good story for your barking dog. That's a true story. That right there on a municipal judge in Castle Rock, who's still in office, by the way, still not in office, still on the bench. It couldn't be more shameful. And this is an entry-level nothing case.
That can take
my money, can take my money. Yep. By a woman who maliciously came across the street and taunted the dog and set it up because our neighbors saw it happen. I testified to it. She never showed up for court. I was still found guilty, $250.
How is that possible?
I'm just telling you it's possible. Because
you have a right to face your accuser.
I have a right to face my dude.
So why was the accuser not there?
I could go back and pull the courtroom testimony.
Slave.
Farce.
You're a slave. Who likes being called a slave? Anybody? That's what we are. What they did to you is it's a two-tier justice system. It's actually not 2 tiers. It's 1 tier.
It's 1 tier.
It's 1 tier of persecution. The process is the punishment. And they can do it to you whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Do you want to hear a great story? Short one?
Yeah.
This last voting cycle, 4 of us in our family, we got 12 ballots. 3 each, the same ballot, repeated. 3 of them by accident from the Douglas County Clerk and Recorder. I took 8 ballots back down to the Douglas County Clerk and Recorder, and I said, hey, we got 3 each. And they went, huh, that's weird. I said, yeah. So well, what do we do? They said, well, we'll look into it. I never heard anything back from them. Do you know what kind of crime it is? If I had signed all 3 ballots and sent it in?
No.
You know, I go to jail for that.
Would you?
Oh, yes,
you
I
probably
would.
Yeah.
I would absolutely go to jail for that.
But Abba Daba, Duba wouldn't. Duba got probation.
I was honest about it.
Akidaki. And Akidaki, that's the other one. Akidaki wouldn't get in trouble either. Akidaki is a translator for Uba Uba.
Is that common spelling?
I know you want to laugh.
Is that common spelling?
I'm not doing it, Joe. I'm not biting into it.
I hate being. I'm a faith-filled Christian man. I follow Jesus Christ. I don't like being divisive, but there is a time to call out truth unequivocally across the board, which is all the time, and then there is a time to stand in the face of evil, and what we're facing right now is evil. You laid it out on the board. It's not just enslavement, it's evil. We are facing, that's why I put the cross down there. We have subverted this thing called following Jesus Christ. We took it out of everything, and we're paying an incredible price for it right now. And there may be people out there that are not faith people saying, oh, you lost my mind. Well, go back and track it. If you don't believe me, you don't believe in it, go back and track it through history. Look at what has happened over the last 65 years. Just look into the classrooms if you don't want to look anywhere else. I'm telling you right now, you put that cross back up at the top and you put it above man's law, and we start holding people to account. You start calling evil what it is. You start getting in the face of it. It's the only way we avoid tyranny. If we don't do that, the only thing that's going to come is tyranny. It's not going to end until people are in the casket. It's not going to.
Well, I'm telling you right now that we're headed towards a very, very hot environment. And people, once they see this model, my friend's right. He says, Joe, we have a CIA agent that is actually a governor.
I'm sorry, say that again?
A CIA agent who is a governor in our country.
Oh, gotcha. I thought that you were talking about Polis.
Spanberger, Virginia, who's also, by the way, a dual citizen.
Just got elected over the black female.
The black female.
Yeah, yeah.
A white Israeli got elected over a black female, who, by the way, served in the community for 20 years.
Yeah.
A CIA dual citizen got elected and they went right for the jugular, took away Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights, basically did everything they could to strip the public. You want to see what happens really quick? What happened in Colorado, now they're just going for every state.
Of course they are. We were the test bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been saying
And
that
we're not
for
doing anything.
3
So I'm
years.
just going to tell you right now, I'm going to do something. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are going to do something. And the idea of letting them take from me what's not theirs to take, I find offensive.
Yeah. You know, that lady in that first video with the tiny house,
Yeah.
that really resonated with me. Because I actually know a handful of people that have had a similar problem.
Yeah.
And I'm talking people that have got 5 times that acreage.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Yeah.
Telling them what you can and can't do.
Yeah, because
and
you
we're
have
talking minimal stuff.
You have to give them money. You have to be a developer, and you have to pay into the deal and give them tap fees and everything else.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have what they do not tell you you can take.
They can put a lien on
Slave.
my mortgage for not putting paint on that fence that's 18 years old
Yes,
that's
they
falling
can.
apart.
Yeah. I want to show you this. Tim Burchett, who's also a really good guy, by the way, in the Capitol, who's talked a lot about just the absolute disgustingness that happens there. I had this to talk about insider trading and just how bad it is in Washington. Play it.
You know, it's kind of funny when you deal with this stuff. And I talked to the ethics people the other day. Everybody knows I make these crazy skateboards, and people asking, "Hey, sell me a skateboard." So I said, "Well, let me go check it out with ethics." I literally got to get attorneys involved to sell a dadgum skateboard. But if I want to do insider stock trading, just get elected to Congress. Really, I mean, let's just be honest. Look, everybody ought to do like I do. Get their $12,000 portfolio in a mutual fund. Let my buddy Tommy Seiler handle it. He does pretty well. Although my daughter's going to school now, so I'll be cashing that out very soon. But look, we're public servants. We're stewards of the community. Nobody's above the law. You hear that? It's kind of become cliche up here. But for years, members of Congress, we know they've gotten rich using hardworking American taxpayers' money. Members sit on committees. We attend private meetings where we gain privileged information about companies. Congress appropriates money to economic sectors that may overlap with members' own portfolios. I call it the war pimps a lot. I worry about us voting on wars that we're going to send our kids off to that we couldn't even find on a dadgum globe, and members having owning stock in those things. The American taxpayer always gets the short end of the stick, and Congress seems to profit at their expense. This body has been enriching itself on the taxpayer's dime, and dadgummit, it's got to stop. The president's already said he would sign a bill banning stock trading for members of Congress if passed. I think the real test is going to be whether Congress has the guts to stand up and do what's right. And I'm proud of all these people up here. I don't agree with them, some of these people, on anything. If Cortez told me the sun was coming up tomorrow, I'd go out and check it out.
He ain't wrong.
No, he's not. But the reason why they're sitting on that stage is because they're too retarded to actually know how to insider trade.
Did you ever watch the...
I'm sorry. They're not up on that stage for any other reason other than they don't get it. Like, I mean, if I buy this stock, it'll double. They don't have it.
You don't like Tim?
I love Tim.
I think Tim's a good dude.
But he's already independently wealthy, by the way.
Yeah, but he's still a good dude.
Hold on. So he's independently wealthy, so he doesn't need to insider trade.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
But my point is that the people that insider trade, like the people that are behind him, they're only there because they're like,
because they can't figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. You should watch the Sean Ryan episode with him and Eli Crane. It's actually very good.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Eli's
it really
a good
is.
guy.
Eli's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's as solid as they come.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, it's so Nancy, let's go through a couple of these if we can. So Nancy Pelosi is worth $280 million. She's venture capital and blue chip stock investments. It's a primary source. Mitch McConnell from Kentucky is worth 30 to 35 million. Primary source, inheritance, investment portfolio, and book deals.
People read his book?
Yeah, but the first few decades of his career was moderately modest. His personal wealth jumped significantly when he had a multi-million-dollar inheritance from his wife's family in 2008. And then after that, the Senate, let's go through this really quick. The Senate is very wealthy. 73 out of 100 U.S. senators have a median net worth in excess of $1 million. House of Reps, just 50% of the 435 members of the House are estimated to be millionaires. Combined with the Senate, that keeps the total average of the entire 535-member legislative body consistently above the 50% threshold. The median net worth for all members of Congress hovers around $1 million compared to the median net worth of a typical American household, which sits closer to $190,000. So there is no party of the people. There's no party of the people because we haven't decided that the people deserve to have a seat at the table. So you have Ramadan being celebrated in schools.
Yeah.
You have indoctrination, and then you have having sex with people that are like you, your same sex, is now being celebrated by and mocking God with a rainbow flag. If you remember, Noah's Ark, God gave him a promise and said...
That's why I put the cross on the board.
Yeah. So here's a video breaking down the pride flag. I want you to see this for a second. And I want you guys to understand that I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're a popsicle or a purple dinosaur. I could care less if you're a cat and you need a litter box. And I will love you where you are, not where I want you to be. My job, the ethos, the mandate from God is to love your fellow man, period. Right? Not evil.
No, we're called to hate evil.
But this is the greatest explanation about why we need to rid every school of the pride flag. You don't get to have a month. Veterans get 1 day. Man, I'm opposed to 1 day for sexual orientation, frankly. But if you want a day, great, a day. I'm not going to sit around for 30 days and have to celebrate something that 1% of our population is a part of. Play it.
Gay people fact of the day. Let's talk about the pride flag. You've definitely seen that everywhere, but it's most common, of course, during June, which is Pride Month, which is the month where everybody everywhere has to be totally accepting of everything no matter what, and if we don't, it's because we're hateful. It's so simple, even children understand it, and of course they have to because it's taught in all the schools, and they even like to use a rainbow to teach this to kids because, of course, it's something they're familiar with already. They maybe think it's fun and beautiful. Now, as Christians, we may see this word pride and, of course, be immediately reminded of sin. Pride, of course, being the sin by which Lucifer fell. Many would call it even the deadliest sin of all. But you must recall that the rainbow itself is actually an explicitly Christian symbol, which is being appropriated here for very not Christian ends. In the Bible, the rainbow is actually a symbol of God's promise to Noah after the great flood, where he says that he will never again flood the earth to cleanse it of wickedness, and Noah sees the rainbow and understands this to be true. So the rainbow is understood to be a symbol of God's mercy and love for us, so to then appropriate the rainbow for the celebration and glorification of sin is to mock God's mercy and love for us, and thereby to beckon not the flood, but his fire. Calling the celebration of your sin pride, waving the rainbow around in service of that, how is that not very intentional mockery? And you can deny that the flag was designed to mock Christians, but then why would its original designer, Gilbert Baker, have been a member of a group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who literally go around mocking Christians and specifically Catholics by dressing up and publicly disrespecting their beliefs and practices? Moreover, it gets a bit more clear when you consider that one of the largest pride events in history just took place over in Israel at the Dead Sea, and then you recall that traditionally, this is where historians understand the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to have been located. God will not be mocked. Seems like they're just taunting him to run it back. Now, in recent years, they've also added the black and brown stripes, which are apparently meant to highlight specifically black and brown LGBT people, but in modern times, the flag itself is used less as a symbol of gay pride or whatever, and more as just like the flag of the empire. Nobody who flies this flag, including government buildings, just stops at like gay rights or whatever, right? Like they're completely and totally committed to every aspect of woke. So if that's how the flag is used in practice, it's no wonder they added a black and a brown stripe, because now the flag includes every identity incapable of producing white children, which just so happen to be the biggest enemy of the regime. Look at the targets of their mass shootings. Look at who specifically they're telling not to have kids. So yeah, as if mocking Christ and his disciples wasn't enough, the reason the pride flag added specifically black and brown stripes too is so that now it contains every identity that is incapable of producing white children, which is the thing most hated by the empire it represents. It's kind of bizarre when you think about it that way. Okay, bye, I'll see you later.
I have a really, Rich Guggenheim is a good friend of mine. He is a gay Christian. You have Chris Wiegand, who's one of my best friends and is a gay Jew. You have, I don't, it's not a cross that I would bear, right? You know what I mean? It's not a.
Can you be a gay Christian?
I think so.
Do you?
I think so.
I don't think that's possible.
Why?
Because homosexuality is a sin, and God does not endorse
So
sin.
is eating too much.
Yeah, it's called gluttony. It's one of the seven deadly sins.
So can you be a Christian and be a glutton?
I think you'll be held to account.
So I think a gay Christian will be held to account too.
I think, yeah, I do. I think there's forgiveness. I think that.
I mean, Jesus said that
there's a
those
lot.
that believe in me will be saved and you'll be given eternal life, right? So you give your life to Christ. So I mean, this is, look, if people are going to get mad at me, especially there's a few people that are going to get mad at me in the comments. That's fine. You know, I used to have an uncle that was gay, and I used to call him Anticle. Anticle John. Anticle John. Look, it's it's not a true rainbow. It is lacking one color, but they are trying to mock God.
They are.
And I think that we have a hard enough time. Look, somebody's sexual orientation to me, like I have seen so many people come to faith, right? Through just loving on them, right?
Sure.
So I can't, which one's a bigger sin?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're the largest consumer of porn in the entire world.
Probably so.
The United States is.
Probably the biggest developer too.
Well, no, actually, there's a country overseas that's the biggest developer.
Is it?
But we're not going to talk about that because I'll get banned again.
Oh. Okay.
No, it's not.
All right.
But if you were to look up the top 5 websites, you would think that they're like Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're all porn sites.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, sure.
So we have a problem. We have a morality problem in our country. We have a grooming problem. We have a psychological problem where people are indoctrinating and changing the history and the paths of children all over the world. It's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay to have a full month. I don't even think it's okay to have a full day, because I don't think it matters. I think that's a sin that if I find it hard to condemn someone for their sexual orientation. Is that bad?
I don't know if it's bad. I believe, personally, I believe that homosexuality is a sin. So therefore, if you're gay, you're living outside the expectations therein scripturally. But there are a lot of people that struggle, I believe, with their sexuality. I think there's a lot of people that follow Jesus Christ. I think there's a lot of believers
I agree.
that don't know what to do, that have real-time struggles. And we're in the greatest discipleship opportunity of our lifetime, in my opinion, right now. I mean, at what point have we ever been in our modern history that we're so broken, so badly disrupted that we don't need a call to Jesus Christ? In my opinion, it's that, again, that's why I put the cross on the board. But at the end of the day, it's a separate conversation. I'd love to bring a real theologian in to sit down and devise that, but my belief is no, it's a sin, and you pull away from it and you stay away from it. Struggle, you pray for, you walk with people, you do the best you can. But that doesn't make somebody a bad person. It just means that they're making a bad choice.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, I'm glad this came up actually, as we go through this. I can't condemn my friends who, I don't have it in me.
I don't think you have to condemn them. I think you have to walk alongside them and love them.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about condemnation. I'm talking about walking and being there for them.
And so I don't, this has been one of the biggest struggles that I've had of the thing is that I don't think that like Scott Pressler is the poster child of conservatism, right? Not because he's gay, that's not the part that bothers me. It's the flamboyance by which he has no moral compass at all, like none.
Sure.
But I've met plenty of of gay people that are more moral and more ethical than straight people.
I've met MC. I've met 1%er. I've ridden with 1%er MC guys that are nicer, more cordial, more giving than people that I would call Christians.
100%.
So I mean, I've got family members that are gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love them to death.
I mean, we crack jokes. I mean, you see me and Chris crack jokes.
Aunt Uncle is funny.
Huh? Uncle.
That's funny.
Uncle John. And I used to call right to him. What's up, Uncle John? What's up?
That's funny.
We have a sin problem. Yes, we do, Jeff. Faith and repentance just can't come soon enough. I want to show you what's happening in the streets of Paris. This is why that line is so important.
Dude, I saw this video. This is powerful.
Yeah, let's go and play it. That is the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all illegals that are on the street.
Tens of thousands.
And they don't have guns. They don't have the ability to protect themselves. See, our biggest weakness is not that we do nothing. It's that we haven't realized who our allies are. Who is our unlikely alliance? And my unlikely alliance has always been the same. It's always been the people who are my American brothers and sisters that are not retarded. In other words, my brothers and sisters that are good people.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
That's all right.
I got famous things happening on my phone right now.
Famous. Yeah. Chris says, it's not for us to condemn anyone. We shouldn't be silent about the sin. Yeah, but you don't have to be silent about it. You just don't have to. It's not our cross to bear, right? Jesus said that those without sin cast the first stone, and I believe he was writing in the sand the sins of the people that were standing there, right? And then he told the woman to go and sin no more, which he knew was impossible, right?
You've brought humor into the second half of this.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat.
Yeah, I mean, he's correct though. We are called to call it out, and we are called to love people. So, you know, I think people confuse God sometimes, and this is me. I don't want to speak for anybody, but Noah flooded the earth for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Noah didn't. God did.
Or I'm sorry, God.
Yeah.
Sorry. Noah was out floating on a boat. But God flooded the earth for a reason, spared Noah, called him to this, take 2 by 2 every animal, and we're going to eventually repopulate the earth. Sodom and Gomorrah happened for a reason. Warning, 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 bam, level the city. In fact, he just said it in the flag video. God is a God of wrath. I believe this is me. I believe God to be equal in all things. I believe he is as merciful as he is loving as he is with wrath.
With perfect balance.
With perfect balance. I genuinely, to my marrow depth, believe that I'm created in his image. So therefore, I look at myself and I go, okay, I'm going to love that guy. I'm going to walk hand in hand to help this person. I'm going to give mercy to this guy, and I'm going to stand in the face of evil, and I'm going to destroy it to the best of my ability over here. And I'm going to do it equally across the board. And if people don't like that, I couldn't give. I could, as far as I could spit against a hurricane wind, do I care? And here's the reason why: because the people that I'm going to love, and the people I'm going to take care of, I'm going to do it with the same mercy and grace that I believe God gave me. And the people that I'm going to fight for, I'm going to fight for with the same vengeance that God wiped out a city on.
I agree.
I'm going to put on the armor of God, and I'm going to stand there, and I'm going to go to Romans 13:4, and I'm not just hand-picking, cherry-picking a verse. It's there for a reason, and I stand on it. Romans 13:7. I mean, I can sit here and do scripture all day long. There is a reason it is in there, and we are watching this destruction of a country And yeah, there's a lot of political to it, and there's a lot of things, and there's the broken welfare systems, and there's the DOJ, and there's all the garbage that is going on in the big three, in the 535 in DC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what else is going on? We have a denouncement of our Lord and Savior by tens of millions of people that are walking around pissing and moaning about the government right now, who haven't stepped foot in a church and sat down and prayed and got on a bended knee in a long, long time, but are angry beyond measure. And there are all an equal amount of people that are lost, an equal amount of people that are broken. There's an equal amount of people. It just goes on and on and on and on. I think people need to break down the good book. I genuinely believe they need to get on a bended knee, and I really think they need to search their heart right now. Are we headed towards an uprising? Dude, we are headed towards a tinderbox moment.
Yeah,
and it ain't going to take much to light the match.
No, it's not. And so Chris said that I'm sometimes retarded, Joe. There's no commitment against being retarded. No, I'm just allergic to retarded, and you can be semi-retarded, but you're not full retard. Never go full retard. And Jeff says sometimes, Nana Marty and God shut the door of the ark. He did. No, look, the reason why I love this show specifically today, and I asked you to come back,
yes, sir,
is that I believe that we're on the brink. We're literally staring down the thing, looking at these millstones on our chest, and feeling the weight of everything around us that is so broken. And now we have to find our tribe. We have to find our tribe.
There's no doubt.
And if we find our tribe, so I had a pastor friend reach out to me. He says, Joe, go on the road. You did it for 6 years. Go on the road. Go to every church and just speak. Speak to them about that thing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a business model.
Yeah.
In part to do that very thing.
Yes.
Right now.
Faith and safety. So let me just tell you what we're doing. Can I go ahead and tell them? Yeah.
Might as well.
So we have noticed that there's, this year alone, so far, there's been over 100 attacks on churches in the United States. I mean, severe attacks. Somebody comes in with a gun. You had a church up in Michigan that was, the guy rammed his truck into it, lit it on fire, killed a bunch of people. You have another church in Idaho. Same thing happened. Someone came in, shot 2 people before they were able to put them down. They're increasingly trying to find targets that target God-fearing people, right? Because if you want to really hurt someone, just hurt someone in a place where they're there to worship God, and then they have to question their entire identity. So we decided we're going to build, as a part of everything else, this thing called Faith and Safety. It's a ministry. Faith and Safety is we go in, we do a blueprint of every church that we go into. We go meet with pastors. We build that blueprint for the individual church. We create battle plans. We make sure that the people that are on the security team are properly trained and secured. In other words, they're secure in their person. And then they have to, every month, they have to qualify. They have to qualify to stay a part of that security team. We make sure that they're egress, that we're training for scenarios, and that each one of those churches. And we charge the church a little bit in order to get this done, so that we can protect the thing that is most important for us to protect, and that is people of our tribe. There's nothing more important than the people that come there to worship, that feels like they, in that, can be safe in the ability to worship God, to sit with God. And so we decided we're going to build this.
Amen.
And we're a week in. We'll launch here in another week.
Got a lot to do.
Yeah, it's a lot to do. A lot to do.
It's important, I think, to, as you're squeaking over there, it's important to delineate. He's gone funny here. By the way,
yeah,
got a Mexican Hispanic buddy of mine, he's a firefighter. He says, "Do you know how to name my twin boys?" I said, "What?" He said, "Jose and Jose B." And it's funny because he can tell the joke. He just told me that the other day. Good dad joke. No, we are doing this, and I'm grateful for Joe's heart and his friendship. And we handle things. Here's the thing that I love, and I'll say it out loud to the world to hear. I don't know how many people are watching around.
A lot.
Joe and I do things. Our overlap, we're cut from the same cloth. We do things very, very similarly, and there are some things that we absolutely do very differently. Joe's going to go sometimes at the jugular. I'm going to be more even-keeled in the middle of stuff, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a fighter. It doesn't mean I'm not ready to fight. It doesn't mean that I haven't fought. I'm grateful that you shared what we're getting not getting ready to do, we're in the middle of, as this thing builds out. Folks, I've been doing this for a long time now. My first half of my career, law enforcement, did a lot of door kicking, a lot of car chases, took down a lot of bad dudes, got a lot of crap hanging on my wall. My wife built it for me. She calls it my wall of history. And I've put a lot of bad people in jail, Joe, but I'll tell you, when I hired in, after I retired, when I hired in the church, I hired in because people were assassinated at New Life Church at the end of 2007. True story,
Colorado Springs.
Yeah. And John, who's running the security team, I'd gone down there and done a detail with those guys a couple months prior, not knowing, obviously, that this was going to be a landmark case in Colorado that changed church safety forevermore. And when those people were assassinated, they were assassinated by Matthew Murray, went up to Arvada, shot some people, went down to New Life, killed more, and then he suicided himself because he was a coward. I was immediately hired in at a mega church running 10,000 people a weekend, 800 kids, 700 to 800 kids in the school 5 days out of the week. Hardest job I've ever had in my life, most rewarding job I've ever had in my life, but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about what happens in the world. It taught me a lot about politics. We had a lot of politicians going to that church, 10,000 people a weekend, senators there, Congress people there, pro athletes there, Denver Broncos, Colorado Avalanche. I was doing EP details left and right. And it brought me to a conclusion. One, I don't like politics in a church. What can I do about it? How do I bridge a safety ministry, not a security team, a safety ministry, because that's what it is. It's a ministry. If a church funds a ministry, they're not, instead of just checking a box, what's an insurance requirement, we're going to do a security team. No, we're going to do a safety ministry. We're going to fund this thing. We're going to do it right. We're going to train. We're going to prepare. We had 90 people at one time on our team. Well-oiled machine, I put them up against anybody. We didn't just train to the bad guy with a gun, we trained to everything, especially pedophiles, domestic violence restraining orders, on and on and on and on. This thing that we're in the middle of, that we're getting ready to push out and launch is going to be epic. But every church needs it. And people that are out there watching right now need to share. This is really, really important. There's two things that people will go to, and then I'll shut up after this, but there's two things that people will go to in a time of crisis. They will go in, they'll close off, or they will seek God, and they'll go to churches. And we want to make sure that places of refuge, places of sanctuary, are safe. So I'm honored to come alongside and build this thing, and we're gonna have an amazing team.
It's gonna be ridiculously fun too.
It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah,
a ton of fun.
Well, guys, we've come to the end. We went a little over today because we went to class. And I just want you to know there'll be a test on this afterwards. Your job is to share this. Micah, thank you for coming in again.
Thank you.
And walking through this deal. Yeah, I got a little bit animated today. I was hot. And I'm not hot like angry. I'm hot because I can feel it. I can feel the oppression.
Well, it hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legitimate.
Yeah, it is absolutely legitimate. All right, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. If you're over there on Apple, I know that we have a ton of people over there on Apple and Google. We also have Roku. We have a bunch of other things that we just added to the mix. And we're going to be making sure that we get everything on every channel. With that said, you are the ambassadors of truth. I want to hear it from you. We're going to go ahead and pray it out. Susan, great to see you. Lynn, good to see you. Chris, good to see you. Jeff, good to see you. Gammy, always good to see you.
The Gamster.
Esther, yeah.
She was texting me yesterday, bless her heart. Yeah, she's recovering from surgery.
She is recovering from surgery. She told me to come down. Nana Marty, thanks for getting involved. To the massive number of people that are online on Facebook. Jiminy Christmas, of all places. Amy, good to see you. Lots of different people that are online. Let's see what else we got here.
Just tell me my hat's been straight all day. I hope I haven't been crooked all day.
Yeah, it might have been.
All right.
Just so you guys know, Micah has a podcast. It's called the Daily Carry Podcast. You can go see that
with Jared. With Jared Heyman.
Yeah, Jared Heyman.
Yeah. Jared kicked it off. I'm the co-host.
Yeah,
it's fun stuff, man.
It's really good stuff. I've been on there. I'll probably be on there again. I did tell Jared today that I'm a way better shot than Scott Bottom. Scott, calling you out a little bit,
bro. That was a fun episode,
bro. I feel like that, Scott, we should have made a bet. I love you. You're my brother in Christ. I love you. But you're not a better shot than I am. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm really a way better shot than Victor Marks.
I am blind in both eyes, and I had to take Scott's gun and just plink metal to make sure that his sights were right. And I really am. I got to get surgery. That's how bad my eyes are.
But I heard that you gave him a staccato, and the staccato, he knocked it off.
He did good. Scott, I will give Scott credit. First of all, he was shooting a P365 at 30 feet. That's hard to shoot a pocket gun. I mean, you could do it, but it's not as fun when you have something real in your hand. When he got that staccato in his hand, he grouped well.
Hold on a second.
He grouped well.
He shot at 365 rose.
Colored gold.
Sorry, Scott, I love you, brother, but stop shooting your wife's gun. That's totally not appropriate, right? I can get you I know a guy that can get you a better gun at DCF Buns. He can get you one with buns on it. But I heard you did shoot the staccato really well.
He did.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
All right.
And he was fun. Scott, you know what? I wanted to say something real quick on that, Joe. I know we're long. Scott, thank you for coming on. He deflated that day. I mean, in a good way. Like, you could tell he's just taxed.
Yeah.
He's a lot, and this is anybody running for good, but he's a good dude, and it was fun to see. It was fun to see him come down and just breathe a little bit and get out and have a good time. Teddy Collins, thank you for letting us come down to your range, running for Senate District 4. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, that was awesome.
He's a good dude. Yeah, Teddy's a good dude too.
Yeah.
Listen, we're getting to that place where we're starting to realize that we got some stuff to fix. We got a lot of stuff to fix. But you are a slave. We are slaves. We're in bondage. Let's put it that way. We're in a massive amount of bondage.
Thank you. I don't like that slave name.
We're still a slave.
I feel bondage is.
Yeah, but you see, the slave word means that you're basically owned, and you are owned.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you. I know. I'm not gonna do a part 3 right now.
Truth hurts. Slave. Truth.
Bondage. Bondage is scriptural to me.
It is.
Yeah.
We're in a place of bondage.
Yeah.
Bondage. Okay.
It's heavy.
Let's pray it out.
All right.
Father God, thank you for my brother Micah. Thank you for the time we had today. Thank you for the passion you've given us to love people in our community, to love our country, to love everything about what it is that you represent, Father, which is the goodness that give us the ability to have great lives, to overcome evil, and to defend and protect each other against all odds. Father, we are grateful for the blessings you've given us in our life, and we're grateful for this thing called truth. So we ask you, Father, to give us the strength to push forward and to do your biddings. We recognize that without restoration, without bringing you to every part of our existence inside of our city, state, country, and even the world, that we cannot, no peace can come until we get to a place where we can conquer this evil. So Father, please give us the ability to conquer this evil. Please give us the insight, please give us the wisdom in order to know when to strike, when not to strike, when to do things, when not to do things, when to press forward and how to press forward so that we can maintain the courage that is necessary, but also the conviction that brings other people alongside of us to do great things. We ask you, Father, to give us the ability to see the light no matter where we are in the darkness. Help us, Father, that we may honor you in all that we do, and that we may continue to press forward on the mission. And the mission is, again, restoration. Please bless our leaders, Father. Please bless President Trump. Please bless the other leaders that we have out there that are doing good things and are unselfishly serving the people. And help us, Father, that we may never become the very thing that we're fighting against as we press forward in the mission. I say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
So we got somebody else in here. Who's in there? Micah sure is a better co-host than Miami Vice ever was on his best day.
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. We have a special guest on Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday, I think. We'll be joined by James McAndrew will be here with us. So we'll see him there as well. Remember, you are the ambassadors of truth. You share, I share, we all share. We get ice cream. All right, God bless you all. See you soon.
rise up untamed. In the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Truth forever. True forever.